This is part one to what if deku was part of the missing children's incident. Let's start. It wasn't a while since my little Izuku came back. It's only been 3 to 4 hours, I know how my Izuku loves to go around and just wander around the parts of the city that we live in, but for him to be gone for this amount of time is worrying. I have to admit, I never really thought of the problems that leaving my son to the out in the open world could, bring. I think Midoriya would find herself in a very situation that Izuku Midoriya has not returned from school about 5 to 6 hours after, he went. And that was the school lasted at least 8. And he hasn't returned since. She would think that he's probably spending time with Katsuki in Katsuki's house. So she would go there and call. But the thing is, very much, there would be no... Misty would say that Izuku's not with her. Along that Inko would start to panic as very soon that Misty and Inko would meet up later on and call the cops and authorities of Izuku's missing status. And well, the big scene, and that's when the search for Izuku Midoriya began. And well, at least a week later, she called Asashi, and the man didn't show 2 damns about his son, which pissed her off very much. How could you not care about your own son? It freaked her out that the man that she very much fell in love with doesn't care for his own child. So she completely told him not call her again. And it's completely deleting his number from her contacts. As very much not long later, they would go out to look for Izuku. Federal authorities would go out asking those who last saw the boy. And last saw the boy was very much around 9 to 10, around the time of 9 to 10. Early break, when the children go out to relax and play. And that's the last time they saw him. And that was only like 2 hours after the school started, which very much freaked them out. How could a boy be missing at a school, go missing two hours after school started, and very much just hide hell and just disappear? It never made sense. The last one who saw him was Katsuki, and that was at the door from leaving the classroom. And he didn't go into the vague detail, but he only said that the boy just, after going through the door, he didn't see him again, and he didn't return. And no one really wondered where he went. And the response of if he was even there for the rest of the day wasn't really responsive. No one really cared for him at all. He only said that he didn't see Deku after that. The way how the boy talked about Izuku freaked Inko out. That was kind of strange. She knew what was going on between Izuku and Katsuki for a while. The 10-year-olds, well, being 10-year-old children, they wouldn't know better. She would imagine them getting to some scuffles and all, but, nothing too majorly, threatening. but not a big problem. Misaki had her own type of suspicions that, in her own way, freaked her out. Her son, with his nonchalant type of attitude and not care for Izuku's well-being, freaked her out. Inko wanted to sue the school, but there was no evidence of show that they done anything wrong. And to be honest, in the school defense, they can't take care of all the children around. There's many staff and teachers and everywhere, but they have over like 300 students. To take care of one person is very difficult. And over 300 students, it's kind of hard when you're looking for someone so plain, which, to be honest, you have so many green-haired students that go by Izuku's image and appearance. So, the school was not sued for that fact. Koski would think that this is some sort of joke that Deku was playing, so the bullying would stop. But as time would go on, weeks would turn in days would turn into weeks, and weeks would turn into months. Months would turn into years. It's been 5 years since Izuku Midoriya's disappearance. And Koski was only 10 when it happened. So 5 years. He's 15. And about time, Izuku's been gone. Just vanished from the face of the earth. It was almost impossible to find out the fact that his so-called best friend has disappeared. At first, Koski didn't really care at first, but then slowly over time, as the months would go by, he would not have that type of focus. But after having scolding from Misaki and surprising Masaru for the nonchalantness that was given to the Greenette boy, his whole attitude changed for life. And then saw it as a really weird thing for someone to go missing this for that long. And not long, he started becoming worried himself. In 5 years, Izuku Midoriya was missing. It terrified him to know that his best friend, someone that he knew and bullied very much in the past, has been missing for 5 years. It freaked him out. He always wondered where he went. It never really clicked in his mind at the time, but because of his nonchalant attitude to the Greenette, Koski would try to act this confident type of boy, but deep inside, he was just more worried about for his friend's well-being instead of him becoming a hero. Because one of the things that he quickly catched up is Inko's completely downfall. Inko started changing. Her appearance, her attitude, her lifestyle. She was this happy woman who would care for anyone. Now it's just this cold, salty woman. Life in her eyes would die, as the bright, vibrant green would be like a grayish going on black. Her hair would be like her green hair that would be vibrant and color-filled. Life would have been dull, going on like a dark greenish that would be dead, a dead green, to like gray hair, gray strands of hair here and there. And as her face would just show her age, like life was just not going so well for her. And multiple times over that the woman tried to kill herself just over the guilt of her own son's disappearance. How many times? Multiple times. It was difficult to find Inka Midoriya just lost it. Just lost a whole life within the woman's eyes. Just died. Katsuki started looking for Izuku anytime he had a chance. Time by himself, looked for him. He went down to every place that he knew. He looked for him everywhere, but could never find him. And not long, Katsuki got into UA. Then shit started going up, down the drain. With all this League of Villains, then this bull crap of League of Villains and all these other attacks. Things like Izuku Midoriya was supposed to put in hold at the moment, and it's at least heading to his beginning of second year, and things are just going terribly. He's just entered the dorm rooms all might and just defeat this unknown villain of All For One, and things are just going really weird, and he felt so guilty. The fact that he's living a life that he very much cherishes, and as he wants to live of a hero, but he doesn't feel that same raw passion like he did many years ago. It just feels so dull. The boy should tell and boast a lot about becoming a hero, but his mind would always just be on something else. Not long in class when they would notice this, and after noticing this, they would always wonder what's up with the blonde-haired bomber just being so quiet, just always being so out of, his mind was somewhere else. A lot of times this was just shown. He was a very outspoken guy, but everyone knew that, and his explosive temper, but sometimes it shocked them seeing how quiet he was. At times you would even forget that he was even there in the first place. It was freaky in a way. If he was a villain, you wouldn't even know he was there, and he'd probably just kill you. And that's something that they never thought that was gonna really, So they never really tried to get on his bad side, but times where he was just so so unlike him was strange. It was just on a borderline, just what's going on? Why is he acting like this? And they just finally decided to find what's going on. Finally find what's happening to him. So that's what they did. They decided to figure out what's going on in Katsuki on one weekend. As Kirishima see Katsuki in the door and the main lobby as jumping over sitting on the couch, saying, "Hey, Katsuki," as the boy would not even hear his voice. The rest of the class would notice as how Kirishima was trying to get his attention, but no response. Bakaburo, as poking his sides, as trying to any names that he could, wake him up from. And a lot of times that it didn't work. There's nothing he could say could ever just brew him out from his thought process. And he thought of a word that he heard from Katsuki once, from an old friend that I used to call him Gachan. Katsuki's head would slowly turn towards Kirishima, just say, "What do you want?" "Yo, you seem really, really down. Well, what's up?" "Nothing," as Bakugo says. "It's just that time of the year." "That time of the year?" "Yeah." that time of the year. What do you mean by that? Can you go into more detail? Bakugo would stay quiet as he would feel everyone's eyes on him, turning around, looking around the room, seeing that everyone's eyes were on him. Some would walk in closer to the group, to the boys, or some would just lean in to hear what the blonde bomber would say, as Koski would say. I had a friend that was close to me. He was like a brother, to be honest. My best friend. And his birthday's coming up. Huh? As understanding what was going on as. Then, alright, why you seem so sad? Koski would turn as he would say, my friend is dead. Everyone would be shocked to hear this, as this is when Kaminari would say, your friend's dead? Yeah. For a while, he's been missing. Almost 6 years. He's been gone for 6 years. He's been missing for 6 years? Why you say he's dead? The authorities called him dead at year 2 when they were trying to look for him. That's when they pronounced him dead. But I know better. He's out there somewhere. I know it. I can feel it. I just don't know where he is. Can you tell us about him? Koski will have a small smile on his face as he will tell them about Izuku. Everything the boys likes to his dislikes. And he just disappeared one day? Yeah, he did. As Koski would sigh. So, what are you gonna do? I don't know. Kaminari will say, well, I found something pretty cool. That's how it'll turn question to wonderment. As Kaminari would have the class following him to a certain area UA, where he unravels something as a large ball pit be there. Everyone would look at the ball pit as saying, what the hell's that? As Sarah says, this is a ball pit, Kaminari says. So Kirishima says, what do you do with it? Well, what else? You jump in it. That's what they're meant for. Yeah, Momo would say, I haven't seen these ever before. And these were made a long time ago. 19th century. Late 1900s. That's when they were most common. Well, I don't know about you, but the ball pit I was lucky to find this one. Koski decided why he's seeing the ball pit as recognizing it immediately. That ball pit. As Koski walked up to the ball pit and looking at it, as picking up one of the balls, being a green ball that he picked up. This is the same ball pit from my school. From the school. Wait, you had this ball from your school? When I was going to school when I was younger. This is the same ball pit. They had this same ball pit when I was younger. I always saw it. So there are some cases of playing with it sometimes. But Izuku, he would always play with his ball pit. But at times, whenever he went into the ball pit, he'll never come back up. It'll always be at least 10 to 20 minutes. Then afterwards, he would just pop right back up. It would be strange just to see him pop in and be gone under there for 30 minutes at least, and pop right back up. Katsuki's eyes were narrow at the ball pit. I always knew something was up with that ball pit when I was younger, but I never really decided to do something about it. But now I'm looking at this ball pit. It's strange. So, you said that he would not pop up after 30 minutes after going under. You heard me, Katsuki says. So then, what are we waiting for? Let's go under. Momo says, it's just a ball pit. But don't you want to know why he was going under? Like, who knows what it could be? Ida says, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this properly. Single file line. Well, ball pit, you don't need a single file line. Just jump in. Kaminari says, but that's unheard of. Jiro would say, unheard of, but that's how ball pits usually work. For my father told me. You just jump in, and that's basically it. This is when Rock says, jump in, hope for the best. Jump in, hope for the best. This is when Todoroki would say, if you're going to jump in, what will happen to us? I don't know, Zero says. As Sue would say, let's just get it over with and see what's on the other side. Because Midoriya was clearly just going in there for 30 minutes afterwards and popping out. There has to be something that inside of there that just, caught his attention. Let's do it. As Zero nod, as jumping in. It's all class 1A will jump in. As jumping in, they would all feel so cramped. As after a while, they'll just stay there for a while. And it's like, okay, Bakugo says, this is useless. I'm getting out. So stupid. The rest of them decided to get out because it's kind of cramped in here, not going to lie. As popping out, they'll pop out as popping out, their eyes would widen in shock as very much seeing right in front of them. A city? This is a city, but they're not in UA. As they would all walk out and as looking around and just seeing things, they would see clear as day. They're not in Japan at all. This looks more like the US. As Kanari says, we're in the United States, but where? As Momo look at a billboard and sing, we're in Utah. Hurricane Utah? We're in hurricane? Wait, how the hell did we were just in Japan. Ida will look around, seeing the vehicles going around and seeing the age as his eyes would widen in shock. We're not just in Utah, in the US. We're in Utah in the time of look at this whole place. Do you not see it's different from the US and our time? Our time? What do you mean? Each of them look at things around them. Vehicles, cars, people. They're all different. As their eyes are wide in shock as what is this? As this is when Katsuki would say, this is the late 1900s. But how? Then, if we're in the late 1900s, then what year is it? Kaminari pulled out his phone and seeing that it's not even getting bars. Well, no bars, so I can't tell time. You're not gonna get bars, Kaminari, as Jiro says. We're in the late 1900s. So no Wi-Fi. Right. But that means your television work, but no Wi-Fi for phones, dummy. Dumbass. No Wi-Fi means we can't call anybody. And this technology doesn't even exist around that time. This is when Eden walk up and asking, hello, the man returned is look at the guy, the young teen. What year is it? As the man will say, why? It's literally 1995. Thank you. No, I mean 1985. Thank you, as nodding to the man. Well, usually Kasi says it's 1985. 1985? But that means we're 1,000, this is like 2,000 or 3,000 years apart from our time. How the hell did we get here? That's about 4,000 years apart, actually. 4,000 years apart? Rock says, we're far from home. Like, generations far. Quirks don't even exist around this time, Momo says. This is just ages, just humans. Koski would look around as seeing things that would be familiar. And picking up something on the sidewalk and looking at it, it would be a newspaper about Freddy Fazbear's of closing recently in the early year 1985. Recently in the 1983. What's going on? After Kirishima says, this Freddy Fazbear's closing on the year 1983. Does anyone have a sense of what the hell Freddy Fazbear's? Because I don't know about you, but that sounds like a place where, I don't know, things go bad. And did you just say 5 children go missing? How long was that? It's the year 1985, but they've been missing for at least 2 years. So they've been missing for, and that means they got missing for 2 years. That means they went missing since 1983. But then, where is this Freddy Fazbear's? Can you read more upon it? As Momo takes the paper off of Coxie's hands and looking at it, she used to say, Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. A magical place where kids and grown-ups alike can be together. A place where a core of 4 animatronics. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy. Comes Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, where fantasy fun come to life. Freddy Fazbear is now hiring. What's going on? I don't know. But I have a feeling that this Freddy Fazbear's Pizza might, I don't know, do something. Toski look at the fox, seeing the fox and realizing that fox. I seen Deku wear a fox mask before. He said that he just got it from a place called Freddy Fazbear's. I didn't believe it because there's a thing called Freddy Fazbear's when we were growing up, but now I know what he meant. Now I know what he meant by Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy. Whoa. He told you about this? Yeah, I thought he was delusional. Probably hid his head somewhere. Then why did you not tell the police about this? Because we were kids. You think the police would believe us and believe us when I tell them about Freddy Fazbear's Pizza doesn't even exist by a kid who went missing? That would seem as delusional. This is when Ida says, one place to go. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. But It just has been closed down for about 2 years. Hey, Katsuki says, one place to go. As they'll head out towards the area. After heading out towards the area, this is when they would meet up. Katsuki will look around. As they'll finally find a place to fit Fazbear's. Seeing that it's closed. It left abandoned and rot. Wow, look at that. Abandoned like the day it was born, Connery says. But I don't know about you, but I don't want to go in there. We're going in there, Katsuki says. You crazy? We're not going in there. Yes, we are. Come on. As the bomb bomber makes his way inside as trying to open the door, seeing that it's locked. Fuck. It's not opening. Gotta find another way in. As Uraka would say, hey, let's use the sidewalk. Let's use the side of the alleyway. And use my car to floats up there. As they'll use float to make their way upon the roof. Seeing there's an air shaft, they went down to the air shaft. After finding their way inside the air shaft, things were perfect. And not long, well, they're inside. They were inside the kitchen. How convenient. The kitchen. A place where, well, things went very well. Conrad was like, oh, it smells terrible. Well, it's a abandoned pizzeria. What do you think? I thought they would have cleaned it up, the place, Whatever happened here was pretty big. 5 people went missing. I don't know about you, but, As the class would make their way around and out the kitchen, finding a very large and spacious place, seeing it as it would be beautiful, with party room, with places of happy birthdays and all around, with like glitter all over the place, along with toys, cups, plates, very much a place where you imagine a kid's game. And they would find arcades inching every single place around the pizzeria. There would be an arcade they would see. Holy crap, this place is huge. Katsuki would turn to see a prize corner, and turn to see to the very front, seeing 3 mascots. As they'll walk up, as very mature worker used a flame to light up the place. This place is huge. As they'll turn, they'll wipe their hands upon the place, as Jiro would wipe her hands upon one of the tables, as not seeing an ounce of dirt. This place does not even have a single speck of dirt. So, still pretty clean. Kamari says, so there has to be power around here. Kamari says, because I don't want to be in the dark. Especially in a place where kids went missing, so, Todoroki would say, I think it's best if you keep it off. Very much as they'll look around this, Katsuki would eyes wide in shock as, where the hell did the bunny go? As they'll turn to see one of the mascots gone. I'm sure it was right there, Kaminari says. But if I'm mistaken, I think I know just what's going on. Kaminari says. Kaminari. As Seto says, there's no such thing as, there's a ghost in here. Minette says, if there's a ghost in here, they would have already, popped up by now. You know how they do, like, people intruding on their space. Yeah. Because we're about to get jump scared. I knew it! I told you I should have come here. But no! You didn't listen. You didn't listen to old Kaminari. Now we're going to get killed. Oh, God. This is when Meta says, aren't we heroes in training with quirks? As Kaminari will remember as, oh yeah, we are. We are heroes in training. So that means if we get hurt, there is no telling. Bakugo will say, let's just focus. As though here's the thing as the call would be loud and metallic. Todoroki would make his flame brighter as all they would see is glowing eyes and very much seeing the rabbit right in front of them, breathing crazy as his head would twitch. Kaminari says, I told you, don't even say it. Midna says, as they actually lunge at them, very much the class would scattering to the corners of the pizzeria trying to hide, but finding themselves very hard to do that. Koski would be freaked out, being back to a corner with one of the mascots moving. They all can move. Great. That's perfect. Just perfect. Oh, God. Maybe this was a bad idea. As this is when something would jump right out from behind him as landing in front of him and pushing away the bear animatronic. That was the bird mascot. As it would be a reddish-orange fox, being at least 7 feet in height. It'd be very large. Its size would be noticeable. You would see it had a reddish-orange fox tail, long, with a couple of earrings on the ears. As it would be growling, as it was saying in a very pirate-like voice, back off, mate. Captain, he's not an enemy. Foxy, as the bear says in a very deep voice, what the hell? What are you doing? He's someone I know. Now back off, or I'll make you walk the plank. As the bear would die. As you wish. Tell the others they're not to attack. Please, Captain. Fine. As immediately the other two mascots would stop move, stop attacking, turning towards the brown bear. Very much surprised to see that their boss has just told them to stop. As the purple rabbit, they will have Kaminari within his grasp as walking towards the bears. Freddy, why the hell did you say we had to stop? Let him go, Bonnie. It's fine. But they could. Bonnie, let's be honest. You know how you get those illusions, those hallucinations. It's not him. Bonnie would sigh. Right. Sorry. As letting go, as Kaminari will look to the brown bear. As looking down at him, the brown bear's blue eyes with an arrow. Who are you? Are you? You're alive. Holy crap! Wait, you're supposed to just be mascots, robots. How are robots alive? How's it possible? Sentient robots? As the purple rabbit would say, purple like blue rabbit would say, not robots, animatronics. As the camaraderie would cleave as we move towards the other classmates as Spock could go, "Look, who are you? First, you entered my pizzeria and broke in. If I remember correctly, I think it's manners for you to tell us your name." "Well, I'm Koski Bakugo, and this is my class." The fox eyes of Whitening is walking forward, slowly, but aye. It's been a while, hasn't it, Kachan? The blonde bomber would be surprised hearing the fox's voice, not being as gruff as it usually is, but more in a kinder tone. "You aged well, I've seen. You've seen a lot in me times as a pirate, but that has been something else. Nerd? Aye. You're here?" As the fox will look to Koski. "It's me, Izuku." As they'll all be shocked to hear that, Bakubro, if I remember correctly, that's the same Izuku that disappeared, right? Uh-huh. As Koski would say, "Where have you been here? Why did you not come home?" "I couldn't," as the fox says, "and I can't." "Why not? Why can't you not come home?" "'Cause I'm trapped," as the fox says simply. "What do you mean?" As the fox would lift up his right arm, showing a hook, as, "Let's lower your voice. It's hard, to explain, but me and me crew have been trapped here for 20 years. "What do you mean, 20 years? "It's been 20 years, mate. It's been 20 years. As nodding, "It's been 20 years since we've been stuck here." "Yes, 20 years, I have to admit." "Then why are you?" As the fox would sigh as, "Then why can you not leave? What's up with you? Why are you in this fox animatronic, and why are you so damaged?" As the fox would look at his body and looking down at the very large hole in his chest, and how its legs were just completely showing the endoskeleton below, with the two padding feet in front. It's basically the OG Foxy for FNAF 1. As the fox would say, "Well, that's simple. We've been here 20 years and we're a bit broke down." 20 years? "I've been dead." "Dead?" "Well, I am dead." Their eyes are wide in shock as, whoa, Kaminari says. You, all of you, are dead." As in, dead, gone from this world. "What else do you think it is?" Bonnie says. Then how the hell are you?" As the chicken one finally speak, as she would say, we're possessing these suits, as you see. We can't pass onto, the other world. Everyone was shocked to hear that they couldn't pass on or leave. They were basically trapped here. So you're trapped, and you can't leave. Ida says, as they would all nod. Bakugo would finally pull out the question that everyone was, wondering who killed you. As each of the astronauts will have their own type of emotion. Frey's eyes were darkened with hatred, along with Bonnie's being more aggressive. Chica's eyes would go out to sorrow and a pity, but still having a neutral face. When Foxy was just sad, sighing, as the fox would say. Well, as Foxy would say, a man named William Afton. William Afton? Yeah. Let's say I've been coming here for a while, and I got to know the guy. Thing is, I didn't think that it would end up this bad. So that explains why you're dead. No. Yeah, I have to go back when we first died to explain. It was 20 years ago. The year is at least 1995. This year is 1995. Whoever told you that it was 1983, it must be in the past. But that's strange. It was at least 20 years ago. As flashback, all he felt was pain all over his body. It was agonizing. How could I explain this pain? It was not something that I could just explain it. Opening his eyes once again, the cold feeling, no warmth, no nothing, just coldness. As seeing many people flocking around, very much walking out of the stage like cove, and looking around to all the children here. Foxy, or Izuku Midori, now dead for almost about 2 months, has been like this ever since he was murdered by William Afton. The boy knew about his grievances and grieving ever since he lost his youngest son, the crying child, or icon, or his name, Christopher Afton. Things were terrible. Not as the best, but it could have been better. They were not as cautious. Things were always being thrown to the highball, and, well, those who knew the man would think that he was just a grieving father. Lost his son to one of the animatronics, then his daughter just went missing. Then only has his last born, his eldest son, who's completely responsible for the death of his youngest. Kind of hard, along with a missing wife. But the man tried his best to stay as sane as possible, but things just didn't go that way. And finally snapping and losing whatever shred of controller he snapped, killing 5 children. He was one of those 5 children that was stuffed into his animatronic bodies. The others were unforgiving. They wanted to kill him. To kill him to get revenge for themselves and to avenge themselves. That's something that they could really not explain. They tried to bring him in by killing guards for the last 2 months, but nothing. The man will always keep his distance. The guy was never around to begin with. It was hard. All he could just feel was pain all over. The aching realities of the fact. And he knew something, even though he can't go back home to his mother. He wished he could, just to embrace her once more. The cold fact is that day that it was long gone. Could never return back to those days, and could never know the good old feeling of love, warmth, the feeling of being alive. That was all taken away from him. But does he blame Afton? Well, yes, he has a bit of resentment towards him, but he does not hate him. Izuku didn't hate Afton that much. He wanted to know his things, why he resorted to killing through all this grief. Maybe he just finally snapped and just lost all sense of reason, or maybe there's something deeper than what meets the eye. But he really did try. But some things just won't be able to be taken care of. What could he really do? All he could do is possess an animatronic fox, and that's it. It's not like he had actual control over what he could do. Walking around as thinking about it as being able to have the freedom to walk was very extraordinary, but this was going on for a while. It's only been 2 months, and recently he seen how the customers had reacted to each one of them reaching back and talking about the stench of their smell. Izuku couldn't smell himself. He wished he could. That's the thing, he's an animatronic. He's lost pretty much all sense of touch, feel, sight, and taste. He can feel things. He can move the animatronic body. He just can't taste things or smell. That's just something he can't do. It's basically simple as that. Anything else he can probably feel. That's something he can do. Taste is just weird. Smell, can't do that. He can hear, see, move, but anything else but that, he can't do. And the cold emptiness within him is chilling. And the fact that he could easily just be broken down and rebuilt. Of times where he just had these minor glitches, these bugs. It was painful. And when it came down, he can always just feel himself being torn apart. When it came down to fixing him, it wasn't the best thing that, happened, but what could you do? There was only some things he could really do when it came down to, safety. But things were going well. Pizzeria was doing finally all right. The pizza was delicious. Everyone loved the arcades and games. So clean and areas as time would go on. 2 months become 4. 4 become 12, and at least 4 years would pass. And then when they hit their 5th year, things changed. The restaurant closed down. The investigation was finally committed. Henry Emily was accused of the murders. Felony put to custody. This put a problem. Now an innocent man was in bars. This was bad. This put a past bad taste in their mouth. An innocent man being accused of someone else's crimes. It made Izuku's blood boil at times, but he knew better. But what could he do? He can't literally tell them that he's not responsible. They'll just tear him apart to try to figure out what he is. He's a human being. But is he? Not anymore. Now being dead, he's part of the outlook of this world. Strange. He doesn't know what's making him live, though. To possess the body of an animatronic was strange. It was painful, but very strange. He wanted to get out, to be free, to go back home. Back to Mom, Kachan, Auntie Miski. Heck, he'll take on Kimasaru, even Kachan's bullying over this. He'll take all the bullying back 100 folds. He'd rather not be dead. Anything but death. Why die when bullying is just bullying?